Okay, now I love a mystery. What about you?
BBC Radio Cambridgeshire.
And I got one for you right now because some festive hats have appeared on carved figures high up on St John's College in the centre of Cambridge. Famous historic buildings. So how did they get there? Who put them there? The man who spotted them first joins us now. He's a photographer who every day publishes pictures of Cambridge and Cambridgeshire, which are absolutely beautiful. I know lots of people follow him. He's Martin Bond. Hello, Martin.
Hi, Chris. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Lovely to speak to you. Nice to chat to you because I see your photographs every day and they always cheer me up. So well done for that.
Excellent. Keep following.
We'll tell people more about those in a moment or two. And just a few days ago, I spotted that you'd put up a photograph of a hat, a Santa's hat, way high up on St John's College. So, were you the first to spot it?
I don't think I was. To be fair, one of my followers on Facebook said, "Have you seen the hats on St John's Chapel?" So I sort of hoofed it down there fairly quickly. I suppose I'm, lucky enough to have a decent following, and I was probably the first person to make it, public, if you like.
So St John's College, right in the centre of Cambridge, Gothic-style chapel built in the 1860s. It is 163 feet high, so that's 50 metres for those who like it in that language. And there's this hat, one hat, and then we spotted more, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's as far as I know, there are three Santa hats on three of the corners of the figures that are actually on the corners of the tower, and one mysterious hat which is actually on the head of the gargoyle, which extends probably about sort of 4 or 5 feet away from the. We'll come on to how I think it happened, but I mean, how they did that, I don't know.
Yeah. Going back to, I think, the 1950s, students did a series of pranks where they would put things onto the roofs of buildings. The Senate House in particular was the famous one, where people went out in the morning one day in 1958 and there was a car up there 70 feet up in the air. You weren't informed. I mean, it was an Austin 7 actually. Yeah.
And there's a lovely story about how they actually got hold of the Austin 7, which was, I think, from a garage in Newnham, which used to be right down by Grantchester end of Newnham, and students wanted to buy a car without an engine, just the body. And the owner of the garage sort of said, "Look, you can have this, but don't tell them where you got it from," because he kind of knew what was going to happen, I think.
And as people recreated that half a century later, and they used a pulley, didn't they, to get it up there? I mean, extraordinary work, and what a great prank. They did it in the middle of the night, and in the morning it was suddenly there. So is this a similar situation, do you think?
I don't think so. No, I think we're looking at a different sort of set of people here, or a different group. I think the Austin 7 thing was very much engineering students of the time.
Right.
I think that what we're looking at here, and there's been a lot of conjecture about how the hats got up there. Some quite amusing ones. I mean, I've had about 100. Well, had hundreds and hundreds, actually, of people sort of speculating as to how it could happen. Lovely things about people saying perhaps it's Santa and the reindeer. Somebody saying that there are female dragons in the rafters that. I don't know why they're female dragons, but apparently there's female dragons in the rafters of St John's Chapel. But somebody also said that, perhaps the statues come back, so they come to life at night and go clubbing.
Wonderful. It's all a bit
lots of speculation, but the bulk of people are saying it was done by drone. And I'm sure that it wasn't. I think to actually, if you look at the way that the statues are actually recessed, it'd be very, very difficult to get a drone to go up there, let alone plonk a Santa hat on it.
Because that does seem the most obvious answer in today's world. Is a lot of people are very skilled with drones.
It does, but I think people are missing the point here. I think that I'm 100% sure it's the night climbers of Cambridge who have been going for nearly a couple of 100 years. The point is that not the fact that the Santa hats appeared. I think that the night climbers chose to have another scale of the chapel tower and left the hats there to show that it had been done. And I love this because it's one of those sort of secret societies with lots of kind of mystery about it. The whole sort of kudos thing, and also the sort of the culture, and there's a sort of reverence to it where they have to remain anonymous because obviously they'd get into a lot of trouble, which is why they do it at night, because originally they did it at night because they didn't want to get caught.
That would fit in with the sort of history of Cambridge, and there was actually a very famous book written called The Night Climbers of Cambridge, published way back in the 30s, written at the time under a pseudonym. I think the person was later outed themselves. But it's you're right. There's long been this tradition of students risking their lives. I don't know, in it's sort of semi-serious pranking in the middle of the night, and in sitting back and enjoying the effect they've created, the ripples these days on social media, of course.
Well, this story has been amazing for me because I think it was your chums at BBC Online who put it on the homepage of their Instagram account, and they interviewed me for that. Of course, so my name's been associated with it completely without any sort of sort of reason, except that I was the person who saw it. But I'm very grateful for that. In fact, I had a phone call from somebody from USA Today. This has gone internationally.
Right.
I've had phone calls from Australia, from India, from all over the world, and emails and stuff. And there's somebody from USA Today contacted me this morning asking me how I got up there. So obviously, my name is sort of appearing on the Google searches with this story. So I don't mind. I've almost doubled my Instagram following, in this past week. So I'm happy about that.
It is a phenomenal story, and. Well, let's hope nobody was harmed in this. Nobody that we know of has been harmed so far. But maybe they will either reveal themselves or move on to do something else, because in the past, that's what they've done, haven't they? Eventually, the truth will come out. Martin, just tell us a bit more about what you do, because you've got a Cambridge diary and you post a photograph from Cambridge online each day. Is that a business or just a labour of love?
Well, it started off really just as what they call a 24/7 project, which a lot of people do. Writers do it, photographers certainly do it, where you sort of decide to do something every day for a year. And I did that. I started because I thought it'd be good to sort of improve my sort of powers of observation, but also I wanted to photograph people that weren't involved with the university and the colleges, because I thought that they were being missed, because whenever you talk about Cambridge, then obviously people immediately think of King's College Chapel and Weeping Willows over punts. And there was an awful lot more to Cambridge than that. And so for the first year, I took pictures of just, normal people going about their everyday lives and posting them on originally Facebook. I've since gone on to Twitter and Instagram. And back in those days, I only had a few hundred followers. But after a year...
That was when?
That was I started in March in 2010.
Yeah. And now you publish them, or you put them up on social media, and you usually have one late at night of the end of the day, which I rather like.
Yes, that's always captioned "Tonight's Walk Home."
Yes.
And people are saying, "Where on earth have you been tonight?" And so it's become a little bit of a joke, but it's really, really nice to have that kind of dialogue from people who have taken a disproportionate interest in my movements. But yes, I love shooting at night. Things are a lot clearer then, I think, in many respects, if you just follow the light.
And the beautiful pictures. And the thing is, how many times in a year, whether it's good weather, bad weather, or whatever else, you open up your national newspapers, or you get your national newspapers, and there on the front page is a picture of a punt on the Cam in Cambridge. It's used to illustrate so many things, isn't it? It's incredible.
Exactly. Yeah. Whenever it's a first hot day of summer, I know the chap that normally provides that picture, and he's made a very good living out of it for the past 35 years. So,
well, fair play. Back to the mystery Santa hats.
Yeah.
You haven't got any inside information for us, have you? You don't really know who it is.
No, I mean I'm a towny boy anyway, so I wouldn't have any wouldn't be party to the grapevine. That there'll be people within St John's College who know who it is, but there is this sort of band of brotherhood there that goes on. I keep saying brotherhood. Of course, you mustn't forget women are at it as well. They sort of scale the dome at Murray Edwards College, and that's an all-ladies, all-women college. So it's women and men doing this, obviously young ones, who probably, maybe looking for something to do in basically a flat part of the world. They might, whether they're climbers from other parts of the country who come to Cambridge to study and miss the mountains, I don't know, or miss the climbing activity. But I have no information. The only information that I do have is that on the night that they, the morning following the night that they appeared, one of the porters went through the book to have a look and see if the key to the tower had been signed out, and it hadn't been. So you can't get into that tower without. I've been up there myself actually, and you can't get into that tower without unlocking that door at the bottom and a second door halfway up.
Handy information. We'll get Poirot on the job. Martin, just tell people your social media so they can check out your photographs for themselves.
That'd be fantastic. It's just simply A Cambridge Diary, and if you go onto Instagram or Twitter and Facebook, just look for A Cambridge Diary.
CambridgeDiary.co.uk as well, the website. Yeah?
And that's my website. Yes, that's
brilliant.
right. Yeah.
Martin Bond, thank you so much. Cambridge photographer and spotter of Christmas hats, Santa hats up there on the roof of St John's. Amazing story. I'm sure we'll hear more of that at some point. Shall we check on the travel? See how